Predator Badlands is the Predator mega blockbuster thriller. Where he shows the world he's in the hurt business to hunt, kill, and collect them as trophies. We will dive into a movie review of Predator Badlands as Dek is going through hell into the gauntlet to prove he's the strongest predator of all time.
Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey.
The movie starts off in the middle of the desert where Dek is looking to kick some ass. He goes into the cave and sees his brother Wey, and they have an all-time battle. This fight is a test to see if Dek is worthy and his own man. As a result, Wey tells him to go home and get more training because your fighting skills is trash. Dek is also given a blaster for saving his life a while back. Dek wants to go to the dead planet to defeat Kise and prove that he's the best predator of all time, but Wey thinks it's suicide. Wey tells Dek failure means death and he cannot come back home until he sees his mission. Dek's father shows up asking what's taking so long, and he don't trust Dek because he's weak and pathetic. The weak must perish. The father ordered Wey to execute his brother, but he saved his brother by putting him to the spaceship. This makes his father so mad that he decided to fight his brother and kill his son because he was also too weak and pathetic. Dek escapes, and the fact that his father killed his brother is cruel and unusual punishment, and failure is definitely not an option according to the father.
Look at you. You're weak. You're pathetic.
Dek landed in the forest somewhere in Jenna thinking about his brother dead and want to get a sweet revenge against his father. The mission is to defeat Kise and bring home the trophy. All of a sudden, Dek gets jumped by flying tentacles, and Dek uses his sword like he's Wesley Snipes from Blade. Dek realizes he's in a Badlands and it's going to be impossible to escape. This forest has tons of monsters and even a time-ticking caterpillar bomb. Next, Dek enters a minefield filled with deadly traps and sees the android lady named Thia calling for SOS. Dek has to go through the minefield, but he passes out due to neurotoxin, but Thia saves him from becoming a Happy Meal. Thia makes a deal with him. If he takes her along for the ride, she would take him to Kise.
Well, good luck with your journey.
Dek reluctantly agrees, and she's very annoying, asking a ton of questions, and on top of that, she's missing half of her body.
I could help you.
Thia explains she's been in the forest for 2 years waiting for someone named Tessa, who is a twin sister android.
You're after a creature that can't be killed.
While Thia is telling her story, Dek is knocked out sleep. Tessa is in the lab being repaired but has to complete a certain mission. Capture Kise or she will be decommissioned. Dek and Thia needs to hunt for food, but the grass is made out of glass, which is painfully bad. What's worse is Dek is competing against a monkey friend that looks like Diddy Kong to get some food. Minutes later, a huge monster captures Dek and Thia, but Diddy Kong shows up to save him. Then Diddy Kongs get captured and Dek saves him. All of them rescue each other and all of them saved for being part of a monster Happy Meal. Dek, with his new crew, explained that his brother was brutally murdered by his father and wants to prove he's worthy as being the best predator. Meanwhile, Tessa is lurking around Dek's ship and found useful weapons like the ice bomb and a blaster for the shoulder. The next day, Dek is looking for Kise and Thia asks him a really good question. Why did your father kill your brother? He replied Wey was trying to protect him and his father don't tolerate weaklings.
You weak-minded fool!
They get to the place where Tessa and Thia soldiers are killed off by Kise and she found her bottom half of her body. Things get interesting because Thea tells Dek to go back home because she's here for Kise, and Tessa and her team are coming for it.
The definitive apex predators.
Dek realizes Thea used him like a pimp and gets so mad that he's looking for a fight. Well, as a result, he gets his wish because a new challenger has showed up to accept his challenge. His name is Kise.
Here comes a new challenger!
You're after a creature that can't be killed.
Dek is getting his butt whooped and tossed around all the while, but Dek put up a valiant fight. The problem is Kise regenerates and becomes a major problem. Seconds later, Dek and Kise try to make peace, but Tessa and her crew shows up and ruin everything. Tessa tells her sister the cold hard facts that her goal is to run tests and eliminate the weak like that brother, and I have no time to rescue a bunch of princesses. Seconds later, Thea helps Dek escapes with the help of a children's toy, which is more like a bomb, but it works. Dek goes back to his ship, frustrated that he's being used by Thea, lost his brother, and lost all his weapons in his ship. But Dek decides to create his own weapons from a deadly trap from earlier in the movie, and see Diddy Kong all alone, measurable. Dek realizes that Diddy Kong is the Kise child, and now everything's starting to make sense and why Kise is on a rampage. Dek and Diddy Kong rescue Thea and they have a plan. The plan is to free Kise and collect his trophies. Dek starts to eliminate the robots using those caterpillar bombs, but Tessa shows up using Dek blasters and he lost one of his friends. Then it's a showdown of Dek versus Tessa. Dek is more like a decoy keeping Tessa company while Thea free Kise. Seconds later, the real showdown is Kise versus Tessa, and Kise is ripping her apart and ate her like a happy meal. Seems like there's a lot of happy meal being eaten around in this movie. Diddy Kong gets his mom back, and Kise appreciates Dek's help, but is frozen to pieces from the inside out because Tessa survived somehow. Tessa decides to finish her sister due to being betrayed, but Dek shows up, finish her off with an easy win. Dek flies back home and challenges his father for killing his brother.
Here comes a new challenger!
Dek whooped his father so badly that even his cloaking device trick won't work. He got a sweet revenge from Wey, and we have a new predator in town.
But revenge is a dish best served cold.
And the movie ends. This movie is based on Dek wanting to prove he's the strongest predator of all time, but family issues with his father made things difficult, which resulted in taking out his brother. On top of that, he's traveling to another place where he meet new friends like Thea, the monkey friend Diddy Kong. Dek had to go through hard time trying to prove that he's not weak and pathetic.
Look at you! You're weak! You're pathetic!
The real test began when Dek is being betrayed by Thea and felt like he can't trust anyone. He prefers to work alone anyway.
We might not be alone in this hunt.
Dek believes show emotion is weak, but is proven wrong because he needs to help to capture the real trophy. Once he's proven as a proven warrior, he'd go back and get his sweet revenge on his father, and that was satisfying. Action-packed, gritty, and a joyride of a movie, I will give this movie 8.5 stars. If you want to see more upcoming movie reviews, press the like, share, and subscribe button. I will see you in the next movie review.
Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey.
You treacherous!